We added Part C as we didn't have time to include the hydraulic demonstration in Part 5B. So what you'll find in the next couple slides is a graphical representation of how the hydraulics will work for the concentrated water SOP, showing how automatic some of this can be and how you can simplify your water supply operations. So in the next couple slides, we're going to talk about the pressure management, how automatic this could be, and eliminate the need for a lot of excess chatter by your truck drivers, your operators. In this case here, the first engine's arrived on scene. He is running off of his tank. This is a check valve. The check valve's open, so he's running off of that tank, feeding the fire. In this slide, the second engine's arrived. He's connected his hose line and he's charged the line to 50 psi. When he does that, because he now is putting pressure into the suction of the other pumper, it causes his tank to pump valve to close, or the check valve, and we're going to leave the valve open, but the check valve is going to be closed. While he's providing the fire ground, what this driver should be doing is opening his tank to pump valve a little bit, or I'm sorry, his pump to tank, and start filling his tank. Basically, he's going to rob water from this tank to fill his tank. Remember, our primary objective in this whole operation is always to keep this truck full of water and to keep water coming to it. One of the things I want to point out of this driver, what he should be doing is he should be leaving his tank to pump crack just a little bit. This way, if they stop flowing on the fire ground, he's automatically protected against his pump getting overheated. It just takes a little bit of water going back. You don't need to have a whole lot. Just a little bit of crack just so you can feel that valve vibrating, and that's enough to keep that pump from overheating. So in this slide, our first tanker's arrived. He's connected to a clappered Siamese, and he's charged it to 100 psi. When he does that, the check valve opens on this side of the Siamese, and because he's coming in at a higher pressure than this pump was operating at, he's going to hold this pump out. This is important for this pump operator to know that, okay, I'm on the tanker now, so now he's going to idle his pump down. He may even have to take it out of gear. He's going to pop open his pump the tank valve, make sure his tank is full, and he's going to close it. And he's going to stand by being ready to bring this pump back online if anything should happen. The pump operator on the first engine still has his tank to pump valve open, but it's being held by the check valve. His tank's full, so his pump to tank is closed. The nice thing about this is if anything happens on this tanker, he's automatically got water from his tank, and then momentarily can have water from the second engine. The tanker, once again, typical, I almost always recommend this, that you crack this tank to pump valve, or pump the tank, I'm sorry, and recirculate just a little bit of water going back. So if they stop flowing on the fire ground, you're protected. And what that does is there's no need for chatter between the drivers, say I'm flowing, I'm not flowing. And it takes away that worry about burning a pump up on the fire grounds. In this slide here, our second tanker's arrived. He has charged his line to 80 psi. And because he's coming in at a lower pressure, this tanker is going to hold him out until he shuts down. So it's really important in this case that while he's at 80 psi, that he's got his tank to pump cracked open so that he's got recirculation so he doesn't burn this pump. So pretty much what's going to end up happening here, I'll show you in a minute, when this guy shuts down, he's automatically going to take over. As soon as the pressure drops below 80 pounds here, the load's going to come on this tanker. He's going to pick up the slack, and then he can bring the line back up to 100 psi. It all happens pretty much automatically. Drivers don't even have to talk to each other, really. It just happens. So in this slide here, our transition is complete. First tanker ran out of water. The second tanker picked up the load, brought his line pressure up to 100 psi. Now the fire grounds are operating off of him. First tanker disconnected, and it's free to go refill. Any other truck that happens to pull up that's got a significant sized water tank on it can hook up to here and be ready to go to the fire ground with its water. Once again, this is Steve Haynes. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. I hope you find it useful. I look forward to hearing your feedback. My contact information is all listed below. Also, I hope you join us in part 6 of our presentation, where we'll move from working with a specific amount of water, basically tank water. We're going to move over to trying to determine how best to develop continuous water supplies. Okay, take care.